It's lovely to be back once again on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. Well, I've been away for some time, so it's lovely to be back again and talking to you, particularly after Sri Lanka's performance in Australia. We all know that it wasn't the best, and I'm not sure whether we even want to talk about it, because the first test was disastrous and the second test wasn't anything different to that. Of course, the Sri Lankans were up against it. It wasn't easy, but when you compete at international level, you expect a better performance. Anyway, now it's time to talk about South Africa. That's another tough frontier that the Sri Lankans are called upon to try and conquer. So to talk about it and more, we got someone who's played there. Farveez Maharoof, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Roshan.
Well, we're going to have the first test very shortly, and we're going to play at Durban. And first and foremost, Durban is a happy hunting ground for Sri Lanka because Rangana Herath, when Tilakaratne Dilshan captained Sri Lanka, bowled Sri Lanka to a famous victory. That's the only victory Sri Lanka has had in South Africa. So the first question is, do they have the wherewithal to make it two?
I think it'll be a tough task. I mean, if you look at the team that played in 2012, that was a star team that we had. But now in this South African squad, what we have, there are so many changes from Australia. So
now, let me ask you something. I know you said so many changes. Now, lots of people have spoken about, well, Sri Lanka needs changes. Lots of people have spoken about Sri Lanka's not good performance. But can big changes, first and foremost, help? Because I personally, I feel that you destabilize the team, because you can't throw 4 or 5 players out at once, bring in completely new players, with due respect to them, of course. I think every player who performs deserves to be recognized. But I think it has to be handled with care. So before we go to that first, what are your views about it? I mean, look at Australia. Sorry, I'm extending my question. But if you look at Australia, Chandimal goes, captain, batsman gone. Yes, he did have a horror time. Roshan Silva gone, which I thought was very unfair, considering the ones who have been selected. Dilruwan Pereira, they say it's an injury. I'm not sure, but he's Sri Lanka's most experienced spinner. Yes, he didn't bowl well, but he's Sri Lanka's most experienced spinner. Sadira Samaravikrama, another young player who I thought has been handled poorly, sat on the bench right throughout and then shown the door. Add to that, 3 fast bowlers not available due to injury. That I understand, Matthews, I understand. So basically, it's 8 men missing, 8 regulars missing. How can a team be stable in such an environment?
I mean, as you said, some of the players are very unlucky. I mean, I'll agree with you there, especially players like Chandimal, especially having a captain, away to a tough... He did have a hard time in Australia, but I thought he's
batted at number 3, batted at number 3.
I mean, I feel going forward, he's our best number 3, but it's just that, any player will go
but
through
it's out. It's something that is foreign to him. If you look at his record, he's been brilliant at 5, 6 and 7.
But I think, Roshan, when it comes to number 3, being the captain,
you think he should bat at 3?
He should bat at number 3 for me. He has the technique to do it, but just that, he was very unlucky. Some of the deliveries what he got, some good deliveries. But saying that, it's a good opportunity for go back to domestic cricket, build up some confidence, and come back to the test team or the one-day team in the meantime. Some of the other players like Roshan, Sadira Samaravikrama, pretty unlucky, especially Sadira Samaravikrama, just playing 1 T20 game in New Zealand, getting dropped. I just hope that he won't be that demoralized. It's an opportunity for him to come back and play some domestic cricket and get some confidence going. So all in all, tough decisions. When that's what happens. Even those days, when you lose matches in this way, the tough decisions was taken. So I'm not that surprised when it comes to these decisions, but pretty unlucky some of them. But it's a good opportunity, youngsters coming in, and players like Osunda Fernando, Angelo Pereira, all these guys have been scoring a lot of runs. So I guess it's a tough call, but whoever's got a chance, this is their time to put their hand up and make it count.
Well, in case you didn't know, Mr. Maharoof is also now sitting in a place where he has to make tough decisions. I won't say anything more, but instead I'll ask him the question. Tough decisions are one thing, correct decisions are another thing. What would you do if you were given the option? Who knows, you might be very soon. If you were given the option about selecting a side to South Africa, how much changes do you think you would have done?
I mean, I would have definitely, first and foremost would be the correct decisions would be number one. But sometimes...
What are those correct decisions?
I mean, if I'm in the hot seat, I would have not made those changes. I don't want to name it. But as you said, too many changes.
You wouldn't have made so many.
Not many. Maybe one or two tinkering.
Yeah.
But not too many. I mean, some harsh calls, as I said before. But all in all, this is the game going forward. It happened those days. It's happening now. It will only keep happening. Sometimes you just have to take tough decisions and give the guys who have been scoring heavily in domestic cricket. You got to respect the domestic cricket also.
Absolutely.
I know that for a fact that the conditions here in South Africa is going to be much different. But saying that, it's a good confidence booster for the other youngsters who are vying in the door to keep scoring runs and come back.
What about one name that comes to my mind? We talk about domestic performance. One name comes to my mind clearly. That is Pathum Nissanka. Now, he's someone who got runs against Ireland. Now, the selectors have taken the decision of going back to Kaushal Silva. Now, I have no problem about it. Kaushal Silva is a run machine. He scores a lot of runs in domestic cricket. He's done his bit at Test cricket. But I think on a policy decision, he was passed on. So, Pathum Nissanka or Kaushal Silva?
I reckon if you take the two records, I think Pathum Nissanka suits out. I mean, 7 games, 900 odd runs, more than 75 average.
So why do you think he was not?
So I think only reason I could see is experience.
Right.
They need some experience in the top order, especially. I mean, you get Osanda Fernando, Angelo Pereira, not that made their debut, and Milind Sirivardhana coming into the squad after about 2 years. So I think it's a 50-50 call. The selectors have gone with experience. I would definitely agree with that. I mean, Pathum Nissanka slightly unlucky, but definitely is someone that is knocking on the door in the longer run. So I think Pathum, we just have to keep scoring runs. I mean, we know how good a player is. I mean, I've seen him playing for NCC, how good form he's in. But it's a good opportunity to Kaushal Silva. I mean, this is his, I think, fourth comeback or something like that to the squad. So you just have to
we need to find out what the record is.
Maybe poor Tarang and Kaushal Silva has made the most comebacks.
Well, now the next question is, of course, what should be Sri Lanka's approach going into this first Test match? And Maha, what do you think? Now, you played there and you know exactly what the conditions are like. We know South African bowling attack statistically should be the best ever in the world. Yeah. Statistically. I mean, the best ever in the world, not today.
True.
If you look at Philander, you look at Rabada, you look at
Oliver?
Steyn.
Oliver?
Though, Oliver is just coming in. But these three guys, if you look at their strike rates, you look at their wickets, statistically, they have even gone past the greats like Akram, Chamin Dawaz, Waka Yunis, Marshall, you can name that list. So, what do you think Sri Lanka's approach should be, and what is your starting 11 if you're given the option?
I mean, if I answer the second question, starting 11, I would say my 7 batters would be.
So you're going to go with 7 batters.
7 batters. Dimuth and Thirimanne to open.
Right.
Number 3 position, it's a battle between Osanda Fernando and Kaushal Silva.
Wouldn't you look at it slightly differently? Get Kaushal to open and Thirimanne to bat at 3?
Can do that as well. That's an option. So
but is that the right way to go?
I mean, I would say just let Thirimanne open.
Okay.
Though he didn't score big runs in Australia, he looked much steady. I'm very happy with his technique, the gritness he showed to not to give his wicket away. So I think we should continue with him at top of the order. 3 would be Kaushal Silva or Osanda Fernando.
But
I think Kaushal Silva will get a go.
Yeah.
And number 4 would be Kusal Mendis.
Right.
5 would be Kusal Janith.
Right.
Number 6, there's a tussle between Dhananjay Silva and Milind Sirivardhana. We need a bowler to fill in some overs in case a fast bowler breaks down. So we need a spinning all-rounder there, I would say.
At 6.
At 6 will be Dhananjay or Milind. Whoever's batting well in the nets will get the go, I'm pretty sure. 7 would be Dick Weller. And the lone spinner would be Sandakan. He should get a go straight away.
So that's 8. So Sri Lanka would go with 3 fast bowlers.
3 fast bowlers would be Suranga, I mean, if he's fit to come back. And Kasun Rajitha and Vishwa Fernando. That will be my first 11. In case if they find, the wicket is a lot of grass and they need to run a spinner, they can play another fast bowler leaving out Sandakan and play Milind or Dhananjay just as a fill in some overs.
Now, let's not forget that South Africa has just defeated a fairly, I would say, stable Pakistan, not a strong Pakistan, but a stable Pakistan. So they're carrying some momentum into the series. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, lost to New Zealand, lost to Australia. Difficult tours, and this is no easy. So what should Sri Lanka's approach be? I know it's a lot to do with the mind, but
true,
so
definitely.
what would you tell them?
I mean, just it's a new group, new captain. So you just need to rally around and start well. I mean, you never know. I mean, when 2012, when Dilshan captained that test match, no one gave us a chance. We end up winning that test match. So, I mean, it's a tough task going forward. I know that when it comes to experience, we aren't there. But if he, I mean, I keep saying it. I mean, if he can score 300 in the first innings, that'll actually give a lot of confidence to the bowlers. So I guess the approach should be to be positive. Expectation-wise, there's not much expectations. I mean, we know that South Africa in home conditions are pretty good. So I think you just go out there and play your own brand. That's exactly what I say every time. Sri Lankan we have our own brand. Just play to it, and if things goes well, as I said, expectations aren't high. Being very honest to you. So it's just that go out there and be yourself. I mean, show what you can do. Show to the public that you want to do and what you want to do, and just forget about the past, about Australia and New Zealand, and this is a fresh start.
Well, I think that's the approach the Sri Lankans need to do, and that's what the Test series is holding for us. So that's what we're expecting. Forget about everything and look to a fresh start under a new captain. So let's wish our Sri Lankan team all the very best. So many new cricketers in the side, new captain Dimuth Karunaratne. So let's hope that Sri Lanka will come up with something special. Right. So let's now try and focus our attention back home or inwards. And we've just seen the domestic first-class tournament ending. Congratulations to the Colombo Cricket Club for winning the championship. Quite a comprehensive win. In fact, they win with 88.32 points. And the second, the Saracens, a very old club, they have ended up second. Chilau Marians third. Where is the NCC? It's quite low. Number 7, what happened?
Going into the second round, we carried so much points. And
so what happened?
I think the first 2 games, we lost a lot of players to the
Sri Lankan that's not fair. You can't come up with that as an excuse.
I mean, when you have 24 clubs play, Roshan, you tend
so
to lose a lot of
go with the
players.
system. Every club, I'm sure, had that issue, not just the NCC.
When it comes to NCC, we lost, 6 players.
You think the others haven't lost?
They would have, but NCC was with Angelo Pereira, Charmi Karunath, Lasatya Mulleni, Upul Taranga and all these guys missing out. Chaturanga Disil.
You're not a lawyer by profession.
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just not giving an excuse. I'm just giving a reason.
No, you're a good defense lawyer.
I mean, the NCC is, I'm very disappointed lying at 7.
That's more like it. That's the answer.
Disappointed, but I would definitely say that missing out those players was definitely a factor. But overall, I thought CCC was very deservingly winning it because if you look at the side, consistently they played a similar side right throughout. And the last game against NCC, they got to win outright. And they did it comprehensively, chasing down 289 at Coles. I was there to watch that game. They had momentum from the first game in the Super 4 and Super 8. They never looked back and, very pretty happy for them.
You know a side that surprised me, Tamil Union. I thought they had the ingredients to win this championship in the sense they had experience. Because, if you look at a domestic, it's a domestic tournament that comprises of a lot of young cricketers. Because we know that, as Maha said, jokes apart, national cricketers were on duty. A-team players had to play Ireland. And besides that, lots of cricketers, for financial gains and other reasons, have been lost to Australia. So a close analysis will tell you that a high percentage of players playing in the first class is under about 26. Yeah. So experience-wise, they aren't great. Now, Tamil Union, to me, had 4 cricketers who had a fair bit of experience. There was the captain, Paranavithana. There was Sachitra Serasinghe. There was Jeevan Mendis. And I thought even Ramit Ramukwel could fit into that category. Kitruan Vidanagi, I don't know what happened to him. But there were names that had international experience and first-class experience. So in that context, I was a bit surprised that they ended up 6th. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with you there. And also they played Rangan Herath in a couple of matches.
Yeah, Rangan Herath did play.
So I think when it comes to Tamil Union, they had a very strong batting lineup.
Precisely.
If you look at their scores,
Precisely.
Big scores, but wicket-taking bowlers, they lost a lot of bowlers. Binder Fernando was injured. And
Lakmal with the national team.
Lakmal international duty. And there's a right-arm fast bowler, I can't remember his name, from Hambantota. And he played the Red Bull tournament.
Shehan Madhushanka
Shehan
played.
Madhushanka, the only fast bowler who played. I was watching the last game. They played only one fast bowler, one fresher, and so many spinners. And in these conditions, the fast bowlers was at NCC especially did have some help. But whereas they had only one lone fast bowlers going into the last game, and they had a chance of winning it against Saracens if they had beaten Saracens outright. But just that Saracens batted out pretty well, and WN lost all their chances.
Well, unfortunate, but that's how the game goes. Congratulations again to the CCC. Wonderful performance. And the runner-up, of course, the Saracens Sports Club. Well, you know what is due and what is expected in March. We call it the March Madness. Big matches, big matches, big matches. I'm sure you're excited as we are. Now, are you excited? Your school didn't have a big match, but how excited are you about having big matches coming up in March? Now, there are some big matches coming. I know it's a little bit tough for you to fathom playing in a big match. Sorry about it, Maha. But how do you look at it?
I'm excited to be in the combox.
Very good.
So
that's good. That's one way of looking at it.
Big matches, as I keep saying that we are unfortunate, West College don't have it, but big.
Any reason why you didn't go to a school that was playing a big match?
I thought this West College is the best school in the country.
Okay, all right. Point taken, no doubt. Point taken. So anyway, excited about the big matches. Yeah, we are excited 100%. Too. And I can give you the good news. I'm sure you'll have lots of activity on thepapare.com. You can watch us, you can join us, you can enjoy the action. Right, we're almost at the end of our show. And as we always do, we got a question for you. Now, the question of the week is, what was the highest individual score of the recently concluded Sri Lanka Cricket Major League and who scored it? Now, before I post that question, I've already done that, but I need your view. 12 double hundreds?
16.
16, gosh, 14, 4 more. So, what is the reason for this? I mean, now someone watching, I'm telling you honestly, someone watching from afar outside Sri Lanka might wonder that I'm not taking anything away from double centurions, but these guys should be world beaters. Why aren't these guys given a chance? What are your thoughts? Now, Angelo Pereira's feat had not been achieved after 1938. And that was in Kent. Yeah. That was achieved. I can't really recall the name, but 1938 to 2019, that is almost 90 years, or little under 90 years, close to 80 years. So, consider, or 81 years, right? So, that is a magnificent feat. So, what do you think the secret of this high-scoring double hundreds in this season?
I reckon,
good pitchers, weak
good
bowling,
pitchers for sure.
Weak bowling.
I mean, when it comes to the level of first-class cricket, we keep saying it's quite getting low and low. I would say that it's pretty low. It is in a situation where this year there were a lot of complaints about the ball, what they used as well. There's no much help for the bowlers, and the wickets has been.
But
really
Kokabura
flat.
was always like that.
I mean, the talk is, not confirmed yet that this ball.
You go with the Duke.
Probably, in future we should go with the Duke. That's my thinking. We hear complaints about fast bowlers not bowling enough overs. So if you use the Duke ball, there's a lot of fast bowlers got to bowl with it. So I guess that's one thing to look forward to. And also about the double hundreds, if you take international cricket, last time we scored a double hundred was Kumar in Wellington in 2013.
Talk about when we last scored 100. Don't talk about double hundreds. I can't remember when we last got 100. We've been long time waiting.
And straight away we got 16 this year. So happy for the batsmen. Yeah. Just had to keep up. But just that I feel for the bowlers. The fast bowlers need to bowl more. Simple as I saw an interview by one of the chairman of selectors, Asantha Dimel. He says that they can't pick fast bowlers because they don't bowl much. Going forward, I would say use the Duke ball. And pitchers. Make the more fast bowlers
and pitchers. And pitchers.
Probably, yes, definitely.
And talking about Duke balls, it was just the other day that a certain team representing a group of islands dismissed England cheaply. And I've read that one of the secrets have been the Duke ball. Well, so that's something for Sri Lanka, some food for thought. And one other thing I want to suggest to the producers of this tournament, of this program, I beg your pardon, is that we should have a chat on your thoughts and your take on the domestic Sri Lanka first-class domestic tournament, and what do you suggest? Because there are lots of people have come up with ideas, but we've lived long enough, seen long enough, and we appear to understand what is actually needed. But that's for another day. I don't know whether we'll have that luxury. Anyway, as I said, the question is, what was the highest individual score of the recently concluded Sri Lanka Cricket Major League and who scored it? Right, now the last week's question is, how many captains have led Sri Lanka in tests so far? Now, the answer, as at today, it is 16. Now, Dimuth Karunaratne will be the 17th to captain Sri Lanka. Now, the last week winner, Sayuru Bulat Sinhala. Congratulations on getting your answer right. So that's a story on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. We expanded a little bit on a few things like selection and also about the approach and maybe about the domestic tournament. And we hope we'll come back with a few more interesting thoughts as we join you the next time. Until we see you again, it's goodbye from all of us.